up, geeks? Welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be my review, my experience with the Obsession candle from the Conjure. So we're going to go over a few things. We're going to talk about the good stuff. We're going to talk about the bad stuff. And then we're going to talk about what lessons I've learned, what I could have done, what I should have done, and what I possibly will do in the future, and what I plan to do right after I make this video, actually. So let's get into that. Okay, so before I get into talking about the experience, I just want to get to the point of whether or not the candle worked in general. And the answer to that is yes, the candle did work. The results were very, very subtle, but they were noticeable. Okay, when I say noticeable, I mean noticeable. The second thing I think people are going to ask is, well, what did you chant for? And with that, I want to say that my chant was I just kind of threw it together. I don't have experience with chants. I don't know how to do them. This was my first time ever doing it myself. I'm so used to having ceremonies done. So this was my very first experience with chanting. Seriously, I've never done it. Basically, my chant went as follows. I wanted to be obsessed with knowledge. I wanted to be obsessed with productivity, and I wanted to be obsessed with completing and achieving my goals. Corny, I know, but I can't come up with nothing else. So that is what my chant was, kind of sort of verbatim, actually. And just to be on the safe side, I wrote it down, which is what you guys saw in the video, and I stuck it under the candle just so that, you know, I'm not sure how this all goes together. I don't know how spirit reads paper, but I did it just in case, because I knew that it was what you were supposed to do. Now, the first thing I noticed was actually the day that I woke up to snuff out the candle. It was the time in which I woke up. Normally, I have to set an alarm for me to wake up that early to be, you know, to do anything like that. Normally, I wake up at about 9 a.m. to get ready for work and things of that nature. For me to get up without an alarm clock, just up, energized, just motivated to just start the day, that was the first indicator. Alright, so the second thing that really stood out to me was this book. Okay, when I say this book, give me a minute, because this might take me a minute. Okay, so for the longest time, I've been trying to figure out a way to incorporate the very few things. I maybe have 5 things in my life that I'm really passionate about, and I wanted to work them into a sort of a system. And I wanted it to be the system to be the bullet journaling system. Now, I know you guys have seen these little planner moms, and they got like tons and tons of planners and Moleskine journals and A5s and Erin Condren's. Like, I wanted to be one of them people, but less cluttered, you know what I mean? So I wanted to find something that I don't do enough in my life to warrant having a planner. But what I do have, I wanted it to be very simple. And so I wanted it to be a bullet journal, but I couldn't figure out a way to make it work. I've been buying journals and notebooks for years. I just bought like 4 or 5 just the other day. Because they look cute. I have an obsession. Oh, that's funny. I don't know what it was about this particular one, because I have several that look just like it. It's weird. But I was able to make this work. And so since February, I've been, for those of you who do not know what bullet journaling is, every day, I'll just, you know, it's the basic setup where you just kind of write tasks and you mark them off and things of that nature. And you make collections, which I have in the back of here. It's not a lot, but I've been very consistent with this, or at least I was. I don't want to show y'all all my business, but I've been doing a good bit of writing in here. And so I started in February, so it's not going to be a whole lot. But this was one of the main things that really let me know that the thing that I chanted for, which is productivity, was really working for me. So that was the second thing. I hope I didn't really bore you with that story, but yeah, that was the second thing. Okay, so the last good thing that we're going to talk about has a little bit of a backstory, and so what I want you guys to do is keep in mind what I chanted, because it now it's all making sense to me now. This is very, very ironic. It really makes sense to me now. So we chanted for knowledge, we chanted for productivity, and we chanted for completing our goals or something up to that effect. Okay. So this has, like I said, a little bit of a backstory, and I hope that you will not judge me too harshly, because this is who I am. And if so, it is what it is. I think most of America, they don't do this either. Okay? Okay? Don't judge me. Don't laugh too loud. Alright, here we go. I am in my 30s and I do not have a driver's license. And I don't drive. I know. I've had my temporary license on and off for the past, since I was 18 years old. Okay? I want to say since 2012. Yeah. On and off. More off than on. But the last license that I had expired 2 years ago. I was pregnant then, so I just didn't have the time to go and take care of that. Plus, I didn't drive, so I mean, it was like whatever. So this time, I decided that I was going to go and get them. And at this point, this was like a little bit right after I burned the obsession candle, and I was just really, really pumped. I was really, really ambitious, and I was just like, okay, we got to get this done. It was just kind of like, okay, do or die type of thing. That's how this kind of really made me feel, like, okay, we got to get this or it's not gonna happen. Like, I got to get it done now. That's how it made me feel. So I said, well, how can I make this happen? Because usually when I take this test, it takes me at least 3 times to pass this test. Now, where I'm from, in my state, you can take this particular test every day if you want to, until you pass it. But because I don't drive, that means I have to get on public transportation, and I wasn't trying to do all that. So I said, well, let me study a little bit and see what I could do, right? I studied maybe like on and off for maybe like 2 days or whatever. And even though I study, I still end up not passing it the first or second time when I used to take it. So anyway, something just told me, like, put these things on. So I was like, okay. And so what I did was I put on my Eris. This is the healing piece. Now, off rip, I try not to leave the house without having that. This is my favorite. This right here. I got so many of them. That right there, that's my favorite. Okay. The second thing I put on was, now these are all intense. So this is intense, healing, and peace, and then that is intense, Ahari, good fortune, and crossroads. Now, I didn't feel like putting on the regular Ahari and the regular crossroads, because I wanted to be extra. So, and then I added power. So what happened was, I talked my brother into taking me, and while we was in the car, I started putting this on, and I'm just like, okay, we about to get this, we about to get it done. And when I tell you, like, my whole entire demeanor, like my whole body just was just like, okay, we got this. Like, I don't know whether it was from the power, or I don't know what I want to say it was from the power, because it just made me feel like I was the stuff. I don't want to curse, but like, it just made me feel like, okay, this is it. Like, you gonna go in here, we gonna get it. It sounds funny, but that's just how it made me feel. So the first day I went up there, I ended up forgetting something, so I had to come back, right? So womp 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 that day. So the second day I went up there with the same combination on, and I just in my mind, I just started remembering the stuff that I was studying. Now, this was weird because I'd never done this before. Mentally, I've never, like, really, gone over things in my head like this before. It was kind of like, okay, usually when I study something, it's kind of like, okay, we're just going to wing it, and it is what it is. If you miss it, then, oh, well, we just do it next time, because, you have unlimited chances to get this. But this time, it was just kind of like I said, we're going to go get this. So I go up there, and this, where I stay at, you have to stand outside because of COVID. So my turn, I go in there, and when I tell you, I sat down in this chair, and it was just like, boom, correct, boom, correct, boom, correct. So much so that usually I would miss half of I think you can get 11 wrong. I would get just about 11 wrong on a normal day. No lie, no lie. On a normal day, I would get almost all these answers wrong. Okay, but this particular time, I was feeling myself a little bit too much. And when I tell you I walked out of there with 4 answers wrong and passed it on the first try. When I tell you I almost shouted out the door, I almost shouted out the door. I was excited. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is all of the great stuff that happened to me during the time that I bring this candle. Now, let's get into all of the not so good stuff. Okay, so before I get into talking about the not so nice stuff, I would like to point out and clarify that it has nothing to do with this candle. This candle is fine. It did what it was supposed to do. I'm the one who didn't do what I was supposed to do, and it was my fault. Okay, it was all my fault. What had happened was, when I burned this candle, that was it. I didn't come behind it I didn't come behind it with Mars, which is a protectant candle, and it protects your work. I didn't do any type of protection before or after. I just burned the candle, and that was that. I just kind of just was, letting it do what it was going to do. I had also gotten so spoiled and so used to someone doing the work for me, whether it be a ceremony or a ritual from one of her daughters, that this was the first time I actually really sat down and did something myself that pertained to something of this nature. Now, like a Papa Legba candle, I do that almost every week. That's something different. I conjure Papa Legba almost weekly. If not weekly, then bi-weekly. But this was something totally different. This was for me personally. I forgot to do my due diligence, and I forgot to protect myself in the work that I had started. So that's something that I want to stress to you guys, that when you're doing these candles, make sure you do your unhex, you do your halo, and then you do your maybe your crossroads, and then you come up with your obsession, and then you protect all of that with either a Mars candle or I think it's a Conjure equivalent, a Solomonic Conjure equivalent. I think it might be a Mars actually. So you can do the spelled Mars for protection, or you can do the conjured Mars for protection. That's something that I really want to stress, is that the candle worked fine. It worked awesome. It worked great. It was me who didn't do what I was supposed to do. So right now I'm going through a period of depression, and I didn't realize that it was depression because I hadn't been depressed for a while now. Having work done for you, you start to feel different, and you start to just know, like, okay, you start to be happier. You don't notice those low vibrational, what they call, like, moments. You don't have those, so ever since I've been getting, the unhex ceremonies, the soul purge ceremonies, and things of that nature, I was high on life. I was great. I was loving it. Those things were off if you do not go back and fold that work or layer that work, which I had not done. So because of that, I started to feel different. I started to take on the energy and the things of other people. It was something that came out of the blue. It was something that I didn't see coming, and I didn't know that the person who, I want to say, it sounds funny, but the person who gave it to me, I didn't know they had it. It sounds funny. This is why I say it was my fault, because I should have protected myself. This sounds so funny. It wasn't until the person I live with kind of told me, like, yeah, this is how I'm feeling, that I realized that that's where my particular depression came from. For those of you who are not familiar with, transference of energy or jumping spirits, they kind of just latch onto you. When you walk into a room and things change, you could be happy, and then you walk to a room and then you just feel sad and you want to cry, and then you just, it's the energy in the room. Or you leave from a place and then you go home and then your house is full of depression. You're not, you might feel happy for the moment, but then you just start to gradually get worse, and you start to get depressed and anxious, and you're not normally that person. It's because one of those spirits, they jumped on you and you took it home with you. And that is what happened to me. So now we gotta start over. So tonight we're either going to burn, dun, 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 Halo, Healing, and Unhex, or we're going to burn just Halo. I have 2 of these. I have 4 of the other one, so why not? I need to get this off of me. I've been trying to burn one of these candles for the last 3 days, and it has not been possible. And it's letting me know that there's something going on. There's something wrong, because it shouldn't be this hard to burn a candle. Something don't want me to burn this candle. But tonight, we about to, what do we call it in church? We about to have a breakthrough. We about to be set free and delivered tonight, okay? Okay? Okay. So you guys be blessed. Take care. I hope that this has, number one, inspired some of you guys to light some of your candles. I hope that you have taken something away from this video that, you know, you didn't know or you didn't think to do. I hope that you learned from my mistakes and protect yourself. Do the proper sequence. Don't just burn the candle. Make sure that you are free of anything that could possibly harm your work. So burn your halo, burn your unhex, burn your, you know, if you have an intense candle, burn that first. Then you do your crossroads. And then, you know, like I said, you do your whatever candle you want to do. Good fortune, deadly attraction, whatever. And then you protect that. And then you follow up, you know, whenever you feel like you need to follow up with it. Only you know when you need to re-up on something. So you guys be blessed. Take care. Comment, subscribe. Sorry it took me so long to make this video. I love you guys, and peace.